Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to Ms.Cheryl's Place. Listen, I'm just going to come on here and talk for a few seconds about a few things that really have no real relevance. But I have been busy, like extremely busy. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I need to take 5 minutes to regroup and rethink my busyness. For instance, today on Facebook I made a post and I said, when you're busy is busy as well. Like you're so busy that your busy's busy. And that's how I'm starting to feel. Like it's getting to be a slight bit overwhelming. And I'm like, I need to take time to think and reflect and regroup and realize what my busy really needs to be, more of what my priority needs to be, versus my just keep going and going and going and going and going and going. So, like for instance, today was such a busy day. It started out at 6:30 this morning, and then from 6:30 till about 1:30, I was out of the house, going to get things for Thanksgiving for next week and picking up items for Christmas and doing a little Christmas shopping and paying bills and things of that nature. And, not taking time. And I talked to my sister earlier today and I was like, dude, like my time for time, I don't even got time for time. Like that makes no sense to somebody that does not always continuously go. But I really was like, I don't have time for time. Like I don't have the time to sit down and really think and reflect and try to minimize my busyness. And at some point in our lives, it gets to be a little bit overwhelming. It's not so much that I can't act and react under pressure because I'm a mother of 10 children and thank God they're all grown. But at one time there was 10 little children in my home and I had to have a rigorous schedule and a rigorous routine. And especially with one of my children being autistic, you have got to stay structured. You have got to stay consistent. You cannot deviate from your consistency. Routines are something that had to continuously happen in his life and in his world. So, I couldn't deviate. I had to make sure the schedule was structured and consistent and it did not change. Now, there was space for allowance of those changes, but for a child that's autistic, they don't understand it, they don't comprehend it, so it will set them off. So, you have to do certain things to be able to manage and be able to micromanage and manage and organize and be structured. So my thing is not so much that now that my children are grown, that I'm not as busy. It's the fact that I seem to be more busy. I seem to be busier than I was when I worked. Because at the time of having 10 children, I worked 2 jobs. And I was back and forth. One job was personal caregiver. I was the supervisor of a case that I had with a patient. Then the other job was it was a job that I was a supervisor at a nursing home. So I was just consistently going, but I had structure. And I waited for my children to be school age before I went to work. So with my youngest being 19, when she turned 4, she went to preschool. And the other children were in school. So I had a kindergartner, which was the autistic child, my 9th child. He was the autistic child. But he was at the same school because our school had a preschool and a kindergarten with his sister. So it was something that kept him stable. It was something that he knew, something about his environment. He knew his sister was there. So he was able to handle that. But then I had an older daughter who was 16, my son, 17, she was 16, 17, he was 17, maybe 15, 16. And so those were the ones that I relied on. And as well as I had a niece that stayed with me and she helped. And then my other daughter, my third daughter, my second daughter, actually my third child, she was very involved in helping with raising, I shouldn't say raising, but helping with me raise them and helping my husband and I raise the children that was under them. So they had a structure, and it had to be a routine that was followed. And that was something that my children now keep with them today, because organization is key. You cannot manage a house with that many people in it and feel like you can just go here, I'll go there, and I'll do this, and utter chaos. So it's not that. It's the fact that I'm realizing that as I've gotten older, I should be slowing my life down instead of increasing my busyness, as I should say. I just, like I said last week, I went to A&T homecoming. So I'm coming home from homecoming, and I'm starting to get what I didn't do last week caught up. So that's what's going on. It's a back and forth, back and forth. But it's funny how we can get so involved in our lives and so involved in our desires and so involved in our things that seem to be priority that we forget about us. We forget about prioritizing ourselves and thinking about ourselves and doing for ourselves. As I mentioned earlier, I had 2 procedures done a couple of weeks ago. My last procedure, it kind of put me down for 3 days. And yeah, I didn't like the idea of not being able to function. That's something that I really have a bad issue with, where I cannot function, where I have to rely on someone else. It's not so bad when you're ill and you know that's what you have to do. But it's bad for a person that is always in charge of situations, in charge of cooking, in charge of cleaning, in charge of the children, in charge of running around and doing this and doing that. So my husband was like, one day when I was doing this process, he said to me, you know, I've said this to you for years. You have got to realize that you cannot be everything to everybody. And that's what made me sit down today in front of you guys and say, have you ever felt like your everything to everybody needs somebody to be something to you? Like, I know that sounds crazy, but that's how I feel right this moment. I need somebody that I've been everything to or for to be everything or something for me. It's a timeout moment for me. I'm actually taking time right this second. I've finished or almost finished decorating my bedroom tree. And I've done a wreath for my door. And I'm starting to, because these are the things that de-stress me. It really does. Creating and crafting and doing those things, they de-stress me. I'm actually watching Christmas movies at this time. And I'm in the Christmas mood. But I'm also thinking, like, okay, it's this time and I have to go and do this. And then at that time, I got to start doing that. And then on this time, and see, what I'm realizing is you got to take a deep breath and you got to reflect and rethink and reorganize and redirect your thought process. Otherwise, you will find yourself sick, ill, or laid out. And I laugh a lot. I joke a lot. I mean, I have a big family of 10 children. As I stated, my husband and I, and then we have son-in-law. We have a son-in-law, and then we have 2 fiancés for sons, 2 future son-in-laws. So you add that up. That's 3 extra people to the 10. Then I have a daughter-in-law. That's 4 extra people. So that's 14 kids to us. So that gives us 16 people in a house. We don't all stay together, but in a household. Then we have the 16 grandchildren. So it's 32 of us. And the funny thing that y'all don't realize is I want to say 5 of my children have yet to have children. Yeah, we're big. But I realized that if I don't take time for time, because I said this to my sister and that was her response, you need to take time for time, Cheryl, because you just, and she knows how I am. And she, you know, I'm always going. I'm always trying to clean something. I'm always trying to reorganize or decorate or fix or cook or prepare or take someone here and take someone there, pick up a child here, pick up another child here, babysit this grandchild, take care of that child. You know, it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And my sister said to me, you need to take time for time. Like, we used to do lunch dates, and she's been so busy because she's a manager at Sprouts out in our area in the deli. She's a deli manager. And like she said, I really don't even remember when I really actually had time to do time. So we say that to each other because we're so busy. I haven't talked to her in a couple of weeks. And so we try to communicate with each other. And she called me today. And I said to her, listen, dude, it's like I don't even have time for Tom. And I told her we got to make a lunch date and just evaporate from the environment of our world. I just felt like today was one of those days where I just needed to just like ask the question, have you ever been so busy that your busy is busy? Like, really? Have you ever been that busy that your busy is busy? Is it just me, or is everybody understanding where I'm coming from when I say that? Because it's one of those days today that I just felt like, what in the world are you doing? Like, sit down and take a minute and think about what is more important and what is very mandated to be done. My mother used to say to me, because I would clean every day. I'm finding something to clean. And my mother said to me one day, she said, Cheryl, doing this, because this is when my children were younger. And she said to me, you need to slow down because you're going to age very fast trying to do everything for everybody and nothing for you. Because if your life consists of you wake up in the morning, you go and fix breakfast for your husband before he leaves. You make coffee before he leaves. And then you get your kids up, and then while they're getting ready, you fix their breakfast, and then you pack up their lunch, and then you send them out the door. This is whenever one of my children were not school age. And you're doing this and you're doing that, and then you running around and you doing laundry, and then you washing, you're folding and you're ironing and you're putting this away and you're reorganizing that and you're hanging clothes up and you're this, you're that. If you don't pick days to do those things, you will become overwhelmed. And she was right. I had a child, I think it was my 8th child. I could not function to save my soul. I literally shut down after I had her. And I just could not. It was so overwhelming. And it's not because I had the 8th child, but because of the fact that I had done these things consistently, that eventually your body has a way of telling you something. One way or another, you're going to listen. And so I just shut down. I just was robotic. I felt robotic. I felt like everything I was doing was instinct. And it was just because it was a routine and it was something that I always knew. And I just kept going until I realized I'm not really involved in this. You ever been that way? Have you ever felt like what you were doing, you were not involved in? Like you're just functioning to function. You're really not there. You're just functioning. And everything looks good on the outside, but on the inside, you're battling tremendously with what is going on. Like, why am I still, what is my doing type thing. I learned the lesson from that. I learned that if I don't slow it down, and that's how I felt today. I felt like, okay, let me just stop, take a deep breath, realize that I cannot be everything to everybody, and think about myself for a few minutes. Do something I literally enjoy doing. I love to clean. Don't get me wrong. I love laundry. Some people despise it. I love it because to me, it just represents cleaning. It just represents folding things neatly and pressing them out and laying them out. Stuff like that. And so I just thought about that. And I said, my busy is big. When I wrote that post, I was like, really? Your busy is busy? And I know I have a cousin, her name's Michelle, and she is going to message me and say, girl, how your busy? She gonna say that. Or she's gonna say, not busy. Yeah, I like busy. And I mean, it's just consistent. And I feel like I can just, when I recognize the signs of rushing, I have to step back and slow down and realize you got to cool it down just a tad bit. Slow it down just a tad bit. So that I can function and be a healthier, better me. yeah, it's just one of those things that, you know, with Thanksgiving coming and my children over the years have, you know, like I said, have significant others and then their spouses and so on and so forth. Um, they only come home, all of my children are at home at Christmas. They're all at my home at Christmas, regardless. Thanksgiving, I told them, I don't care. You could come, you could not come, you could be out of state, you could be anywhere you want to be, but when it's Christmas time, you come home. That's what they were raised all of their lives. All of their lives, they know to come home for Christmas. So Thanksgiving will not be as busy for us this year because my son is going to Greensboro. I have a daughter that will be with her spouse's family. And that's pretty much it. And my younger two girls, there were three younger girls. I think my other daughter who's engaged, I forgot about a fiance, so that would not give us 32, it'll be 33. She will probably be with his family, but they will probably stop by later on at our home. So we're kind of booked, but we're not really booked, but we're kind of booked. You know, traffic will be going in and out, friends and things of that nature. So I was just like, today, my daughter was saying to me, you know, do you want to start getting stuff for Thanksgiving? And I'm thinking, no. I said to her, I said, no. And she said, well, we're going to go ahead and start getting some stuff for Thanksgiving because I know what you're going to do. You're going to wait. And then you'll be running around, you know, all runny, trying to get these things in order. But like I told her, I said, well, that's fine. We could go ahead and get a few things because, like, for instance, I got the cranberries because I'm going to make cranberry sauce. We're going to get some yams because we went to a couple of stores and we didn't like the way they looked. So we're going to another store tomorrow. So we'll get the yams and we'll probably get, you know, sweet potatoes to make the yams. And then we'll have sweet potato pies made. I think we're doing banana pudding and I can't remember what else. I think one of my girls are going to make a carrot cheesecake. I'm not sure, but my menu is just basic. The macaroni and cheese, I do that. My husband fries the turkey, unless we plan on stuffing it, and I'm not sure if we will be. I also do the cranberries. I let my other girls do some things because I've taught them well. And it helps me. It's not as stressful on me. I probably will do a cake. I'm not sure which cake, but I'm probably going to do some kind of cake. I might do a pineapple coconut cake. Well, I call it a pina colada cake because that's what it tastes like because what I've done to it. I think I might just go ahead and make that cake for you guys to see it. Let's see how it turns out and everything. It's a pretty good cake. And like I said, I just have to think. So I don't care that I'm wearing my house t-shirt because I'm around my house cleaning up and taking down my fall stuff. That's something that my target was for today. My mother used to always say to me, write a list and target what you're going to do. Well, I put that on the list today. That did not happen. The day's not over yet, but I have other things that I need to do that's simple, like clean my bathroom and clean up my room. My room is you don't want to see my room. It's a complete disaster right now because I have all kinds of stuff in it. Like stuff that don't half of it don't belong to me. It's my grandgirls. I have two granddaughters that stay with me and a grandson. And yeah, I keep my two youngest, well, the youngest girl and the youngest boy. I try to keep his clothes with his stuff and then the oldest girl with her stuff. But I keep the youngest girl stuff. Which is like my husband said, yeah, okay, she's starting to take over our space. She really is. Because she has a lot of stuff. I'm beginning to realize I need to downsize some of her things. And I probably would do that this weekend and give it to the Goodwill. But once again, my busy is busy. My busy is busy. It really, honestly, earnestly is busy. Like I said, really busy. I believe if we didn't have 3 grandchildren living with us, it would not be as busy for me because I have doctor's appointments. I have after school stuff. I have music and band. I have all kinds of stuff, you know, and grandma, we need this, and field trips, and grandma, we need that. And, you know, I feel like once they came or since they've been here, it's even more busier for me because I definitely have to organize. I have the school clothes laid out for the week. But once again, it's like I said, I really want to know, have you been so busy that your busy is busy. And then my next question is, what do you do about your busy being busy? How do you handle that? What do you do when you have no time for time? Like, I have no time for time. What do you do? And the other thing I also want to say is, how do you handle the holidays? Because you have to add the holidays to your normal routines. When Christmas comes and when Thanksgiving comes, because those are the two busiest holidays, is Christmas and Thanksgiving. And so what do you do at this time of the year? How do you feel? What exactly, how do you handle it? Because at certain times of the year, people can go depressed. They can get depressed real quick and not even realize they're depressed. You can get very overwhelmed. You can be very overtaken by the joy of others. You know, you understand what I'm saying by that? By the excitement of it all. And whereas you feel pressure, somebody else feels whimsical. They feel extremely happy. I'm one of them people that's extremely happy. I don't feel the pressure of the holidays. What I had go on today is like, I realize I'm 51 years old and I need to recognize that I need to pull back on all of what I did and all of what I do, because I'm not as young as I used to be. And this can overwhelm and overtake you. And it can wear you out because you have so much running to do. You're literally running until you cannot run anymore. So my question to you is, what do you do when your busy is busy? And how do you make time for time? What do you do in those situations? Leave me a comment below. Listen, I just wanted to share some things that's going on with me today. I'm having a good day, believe me. I'm excited about this day. But I just had that question lingering in my head. Like, what do you do when your busy is busy? And what do you do when you have no time for time? So just leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think and how you feel about what I've said so far. Also know that if you have not subscribed and you enjoy reading, or enjoy my content thus far, and you enjoy seeing videos from me, just hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, because in that way you will always be informed as to what it is that I have going on in my life. As always, know that you are welcome at Ms. Cheryl's place. Thanks and have a blessed day.